You ever feel that pull between needing to be responsible, to be serious, and the fear of becoming, just too serious? In this explainer, we're going to explore how to be disciplined and effective without getting crushed by the weight of it all. It's a really cool idea called Jaunty Discipline.
All right, so let's dive right in by looking at a tension that I think pretty much all of us feel, probably every single day. And yeah, it really all boils down to this one question. How do we find that sweet spot? How can we care and care deeply about our work, our families, our obligations, but still keep a sense of lightness, a bit of a spring in our step? It's a tough one for sure.
Okay, so to help us get a handle on this, there's actually this one fantastic word that just perfectly captures the whole spirit of what we're after. And that word is jaunty. It means having this lively, confident quality. Think of someone walking with a little bounce in their step, or maybe wearing a hat cocked at just a playful angle. It's not just a word, right? It's a whole mindset. It's an attitude of confident lightness that we can bring to all the serious stuff we have to do.
So, jaunty sounds great, but how do we actually do it? Well, it all starts with how we judge our own work, our own success. It's like there are these two competing voices in our heads, right? You've got that external voice, the world's judgment, that is just constantly screaming, "You're not enough, do more, try harder." But then there's our own personal standard, which honestly is a much healthier, much better way to measure ourselves. And here is the absolute key. When you can look at your work and honestly say to yourself, you know what, I did my best here. Given everything, I tried as hard as I could. Well, then your effort meets your own standard. And that is genuinely, truly enough. It's all about shifting the goalpost from some impossible external thing to your own honest effort.
And the really cool thing is, this makes you so much more resilient. Because when your self-worth is tied to your effort and not to the final result, you're not so hung up on the outcome. You already did the work, you met your own standard, so you're going to be okay, no matter what happens next. Okay, but here's where it gets tricky, right? What happens when you're trying to live by this internal standard to be disciplined, but the people around you just aren't?
I mean, it is so frustrating, isn't it? You're holding yourself to this high personal standard, and then you look around and see other people just cutting corners, breaking the rules, and generally not taking things seriously at all. What are you supposed to do then?
And it really points to a fundamental difference in how people operate. For some folks, discipline is purely external. If there's no penalty, no one's going to catch them, well, then there's no reason to do the right thing. It's all about avoiding punishment, not about an internal drive.
In this stuff, it's like a domino effect. One person breaks one tiny rule. It seems harmless, but it's a little crack in the foundation of trust. And when those little betrayals happen again and again, they add up. They start to erode the whole system. And that can lead to some really big problems, like corruption on a much larger scale.
But here's the most important thing to remember through all of this. You can't control what other people do. You just can't. What you can control, always, is your own character. The goal is to hold on to your internal standards, to maintain your discipline no matter what kind of chaos or apathy is going on around you.
So, let's tie these two big ideas together. How do we take that serious internal discipline and combine it with that light, jaunty approach to life? How can we be both at the same time?
Well, there's this really beautiful way to think about it. It starts with this first part. It's the decision not to drag it everywhere. Wow. Think about that for a second. Lightness isn't about having no problems, no worries, no responsibilities. That's not realistic. It's about choosing how you carry them. You can acknowledge the weight without letting it define your every single step. So what does this actually mean for us? Look, life is going to hand you heavy stuff. That's a guarantee. But what you always get to choose is your posture, your attitude toward all that stuff. And that, right there, is what it means to be jaunty. You're serious about the responsibility, but you're light in how you carry it.
If you need one single image to hold on to for this whole idea, this is it. It is perfect. The formal suit, well, that's your seriousness, your discipline, your commitment. And the mismatched socks, that's your jaunty spirit. It's that little flash of confident, playful, personal style that says, hey, I take this work seriously, but I don't take myself too seriously.
So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. Take a look at the heavy things you're carrying right now. Where in your life can you adjust your posture a little bit? Where can you add your own pair of mismatched socks? In short, where can you choose to be just a little more jaunty?